Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video lecture, we will see about different multi-channel transmission techniques. In that, we are going to study wavelength division multiplexing and their types. So let's start with multi-channel transmission techniques. We can categorize the multiplexing as follows. The multiplexing is divided into two types. The first is analog multiplexing and second digital multiplexing. Further, analog multiplexing is divided into again two types, that is frequency division multiplexing or FDM and wavelength division multiplexing, that is WDM. Then after that, the WDM is divided into three categories. The first is CWDM, that is coarse wavelength division multiplexing. Second, DWDM, dense wavelength division multiplexing. And last, ultra dense wavelength multiplexing, that is UDWDM. Okay, and here in case of digital multiplexing, it is divided into the time division multiplexing. So friends, the WDM is a frequency division multiplexing at optical carrier frequencies. Fixed frequency spacing is selected in WDM because the frequency of the laser that is used is fixed. The WDM components include tunable optical filters, tunable sources, and optical amplifiers. We will learn about them a little later. Here the CWDM or coarse wavelength division multiplexing is a higher version of WDM. Here the space between the wavelength is more, therefore the bandwidth utilization is less than WDM. Second, DWDM or dense wavelength division multiplexing has more than 32 wavelengths per fiber, which gives increased density and capacity. Third is the ultra dense wavelength division multiplexing. This is a high density version of WDM having about 100 wavelengths per fiber. Okay, and for DWDM 32 wavelengths per fiber are there. Okay, so here let us see the WDM or the types of WDM. In fiber optic communications, wavelength division multiplexing is a technology which multiplexes a number of optical carrier signals onto a single optical fiber by using different wavelengths of laser light. This technique enables bidirectional communication over one strand of fiber as well as multiplication of capacity. The main system features of WDM are capacity, transparency, wavelength routing, and wavelength switching. There are two types of WDM. The first is unidirectional WDM and the second bidirectional WDM. In the figure, we can see the unidirectional WDM system. Here the WDM increases the carrying capacity of the physical medium, or we can say fiber, using a completely different method from TDM. WDM assigns incoming optical signals to specific frequencies of light, or we can say different wavelengths, that is lambdas, lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3 within a certain frequency band. This multiplexing closely resembles the way radio stations broadcast on a different wavelengths without interfacing with each other, because each channel is transmitted at different frequency. We can select from them using a tuner. So at the transmitter side, the source is present which is having different lambda values are present, that is lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, and the WDM device is used at the transmitter and receiver side. At the transmitter side, the multiplexing can be takes place, and for receiver side, demultiplexing is takes place. In a WDM system, each of wavelength is launched into the fiber and the signals are demultiplexed at the receiving end. Like TDM, the resulting capacity is an aggregate of the input signal, but WDM carries each input signal independently of the others. This means that each channel has its own dedicated bandwidth. All signals arrive at the same time rather than being broken up and carried in time slots. The term wavelength division multiplexing is commonly applied to an optical carrier, which is typically described by its wavelength, whereas a frequency division multiplexing typically applies to a radio carrier, which is described by frequency. Since wavelength and frequency are tied together through a simple directly inverse relationship, the two terms actually describe the same concept. The WDM can be called as signaling process that employs the use of laser technology as a part of the communication protocol. The essentials of this process include the combination of several signals that are carried along laser beams. Each of the signals is of different wavelengths and is transmitting using fiber optics. Specialized filters at the point of reception help to convert the laser driven multiplexing signals into a form that can be processed into a workable signal. A WDM system uses a multiplexer at the transmitter to join the signals together and a demultiplexer here at the receiver to split them apart. With the right type of fiber, it is possible to have a device that does both simultaneously and can function as an optical add-drop multiplexer. The optical filtering devices used in a WDM are stable solid state single frequency Fabry Perot interferometers in the form of thin film coated optical glass. A Fabry Perot interferometer or Etalon is typically made of a transparent plate with two reflecting surface or two parallel highly reflecting mirrors. Most WDM systems operate on single mode fiber optics cable which have core diameter of 9 micrometer. Certain forms of WDM can also be used in multi-mode fibers which have core diameter of 50 or 62.5 micrometer. The WDM systems are divided in a different wavelength pattern, namely conventional or we can say coarse, and the second is dense. The conventional WDM system provide up to 8 channels in the third transmission window, that is C band of silica fibers around 1550 nanometer, and dense wavelength division multiplexing use the same transmission window but with dense channel spacing. The CWDM, that is coarse wavelength division multiplexing, in contrast to conventional WDM and DWDM, uses increased channel spacing to allow less sophisticated and thus cheaper transceiver designs. So friends, the WDM, DWDM and CWDM are based on the same concept of using multiple wavelengths of light on a single fiber but differ in the spacing of the wavelengths. Number of channels are also different and the ability to amplify the multiplex signal in the optical space are also different. The efficient bandwidth amplification for the C band can be provided with EDFA. There are two types of WDM. First is unidirectional and second bidirectional. In a unidirectional WDM, it has n optical sources being used to transmit n signals with a single fiber. At the receiver end, demultiplexer is needed to separate out individual wavelengths, which are then applied to corresponding detectors 1 to n respectively. This kind of WDM system is unidirectional in nature here because the wavelength is transmitted only in one direction. Okay. The second is bidirectional. In that the information is transmitted which is having wavelength lambda 1 is sent in one direction and at the same time another information at wavelength lambda 2 is sent in opposite direction. So simultaneously we can send the wavelength from both the direction. Hence, it is not called as bidirectional WDM system. The basic performance criteria for a WD techniques are insertion loss, channel width, and crosstalk. The insertion loss arises due to the presence of multiplexing and demultiplexing devices in the fiber optic link. This may be at the connection points or inside the multiplexer itself. The insertion loss of only a few dB at each end of the multiplexer is normally acceptable. Second, channel width. It is defined as the wavelength range allocated to an optical source working with WDM. For a laser diode source, channel widths of several lengths of nanometers are required so that there not be inter-channel interference which might result due to the source instability. For LED sources, because of their wider spectral output, channel widths 10 to 20 times larger are needed. Third and last is crosstalk. It is the amount of coupling that might take place from one optical sources to another. Normally, a 30 dB level is adequate since the photodetectors are quite sensitive over a broad range of wavelength. So, with demultiplexers, a good channel isolation of different wavelength is needed. Okay, so these are the three performance criteria for WDM techniques. First is insertion loss, second channel width, and third crosstalk. Second is the wavelength division multiplexers and demultiplexers. The wavelength division multiplexing and demultiplexing devices are considered to be two of the key elements for enhancing the transmission bandwidth of optical communications. Second point is WDM technology allows multiple optical channels to be transmitted at different wavelengths through a single optical fiber. As we have already discussed in the unidirectional WDM techniques, it is useful means of making full use of the low loss characteristics of optical fibers over a wide wavelength region. So the WDM is promises for constructing different levels of transparency to optical transmissions that is independent of data bit rate or modulation format or protocol. The WDM technology is widely used in data, voice, and in video communications. In order to implement a WDM based system, a multiplexer is required at the transmitting end to combine optical signals from several sources into a single fiber, and a demultiplexer is needed at the receiving end to separate the signals into appropriate channels. So any WDM is used as a demultiplexer by simply exchanging the input and output directions. Here we can see the optical layout of a wavelength division multiplexer. Here the entrance of fiber is shown and here the exit of fiber. The commonly used wavelength division multiplexers may be classified into three categories. These are interference filter based devices, second angular dispersion based device, and third Mach-Zehnder interferometers. An interference filter consists of a thin film obtained by depositing several dielectric layers of alternatively low and high refractive index. When light propagates through a structure, it undergoes multiple reflections and giving rise to either constructive or destructive interference, which is depending on the wavelength. Therefore, a filter can be designed to produce high transmittance in a given wavelength range. The interference filter can be used in a series to separate n wavelength channels. However, the complexity involved in cascading the filters and the increase in signal loss that occurs with addition of each filter generally limits the operation to 4 or 5 filters. Second type of demultiplexer is based on angular dispersion. Here The grating based WDM multiplexer or demultiplexer is illustrated. We can see in the figure. An input fiber and multiple output fibers are arranged on the focal plane of the lens. Then wavelength multiplexed light signals from the input fiber are collimated by the lens and reach the diffraction gratings. Okay, so the light is angularly dispersed and according to different wavelengths and simultaneously reflected. Then the different wavelengths pass through the same lens and are focused to their corresponding output fibers. Each wavelength is fed to one individual output fiber. This functions as a demultiplexer. When working in the reverse direction, then divides serve as a multiplexer. Okay, so there are some key features of WDM. They are increasing capacity of the existing transmission link. Second, we can say due to utilizing of full bandwidth, large number of signal format transmission is possible over a single fiber. Third, routing of the signal is convenient by assigning signal to each wavelength and routing them across network by using wavelength sensitive routing devices. So we can say these are the key features of WDM. Next is to study operation principle of WDM. The number of light sources having different peak wavelengths can be combined by keeping sufficient spacing so as not to create interference. These different wavelengths carrying signals are then combined by WDM to have signal spread across whole spectral window, which is having different wavelength assigned to each message, which can be shown in this figure. The spacing between the channel is just to have margin to accommodate changes in optical sources like aging or temperature effects. The spacing is specified by ITU standard, that is our International Telecommunication Union, just like ITU TG692, which gives spacing of 100 GHz, that is from 0.8 nanometer at 1552 nanometer. The ITU recommendations also specifies the selecting of channels from a grid of frequencies. The tunable lasers that have narrow line widths are used in the transmitters, which makes possible to a very closely spread signal bands. To implement WDM network, a variety of passive and active devices are needed to combine, distribute, isolate and amplify optical power at different wavelengths. So we need here different passive components and active components for that. As we know that the passive components are the components which do not need external power for their operations and are normally used to split and combine or tap off optical signals in the fiber. For example, 2x2 fiber coupler. And the active components are the operation is controlled by external power. These include tunable optical devices like tunable filters or sources and optical amplifiers, so that particular wavelength signal can be generated from sources like tunable lasers and amplified by optical amplifier, and tunable filters will only be tuned to a particular wavelength. Okay, so we have covered the types of WDM, that is unidirectional and bidirectional. Then after that we have seen the types of multiplexers and demultiplexers and also principle of operation of WDM. Okay, so then after that let us see what is the actual difference between FDM and WDM, and second the difference between TDM and WDM. Okay, so first let us see what is the difference between FDM and WDM. While somewhat similar in nature to frequency division multiplexing process, the wavelength division multiplexing does not make use of standard radio frequencies to configure the various signals. Instead, the method will translate the signal into infrared wavelengths that are all part of the electromagnetic spectrum. So together the signal moves across the fiber optics network and are segregated at the point of termination. So at the same time, the signals are reconverted into their original form, making it possible for the receiver to interpret the signal properly. It dramatically increases capacity of fiber optic link and while minimizes equipment and fiber optic cable cost. While the basic concept of WDM has more or less remained the same for a number of years, the ability to make use of this process has greatly increased due to enhancements in technology. At one time, it was not possible to make use of more than two infrared channels at any one time using optical cables. The difference between TDM and WDM interfaces. SONET TDM takes synchronous and asynchronous signals and multiplexes them to a single higher bit rate for transmission at a single wavelength over a fiber. Source signals may have to be converted from electrical to optical or from optical to electrical and back to optical before being multiplexed. The WDM takes multiple optical signals, maps them to individual wavelengths and multiplexes the wavelengths over a single fiber. The another fundamental difference between the two technology is that WDM can carry multiple protocols without a common signal format. Okay, while SONET cannot. Some of the key difference between TDM and WDM are we can say here graphically. Here the single fiber which is having one wavelength and here the inputs are from channel 1 to channel n are present in a TDM case, and for WDM single fiber but which is having multiple wavelengths can be used for a WDM. Okay, here only one wavelength is there, but for WDM for a single fiber we can use multiple wavelengths. Okay guys, so we have completed the difference between TDM and WDM interface. Today we will stop here and ending our today's session with the motivational quote. Today's motivational quote for you is: tomorrow is too late, yesterday is over, and now is exactly the right moment, so start. Okay, thank you for watching.